jugar, and I did bring props for a couple of things. But if you look at the pictures, if you look at the far left, okay, to that really, really ancient looking thing, la pizarra, not a pizza, all right? What is la pizarra? Okay, you can give me any number of definitions. Chalkboard, blackboard. This is also a pizarra. So, told you I had props. Whiteboard, okay? Or you can just put board, all right? Any one of those will get you los puntos, will get you the points, okay? I should have brought it over here while I was standing. Pero, el borrador. El borrador. See? No? ¿Qué es? What is it? Eraser. Sí, el borrador. Now, be aware that this little pink tip up at the top of this thing is also a borrador. All right, I forgot to bring my little square one, okay, but that is also a borrador. All right, eraser. Okay? Ooh. La tiza, la tiza. Chalk, yes, la tiza, chalk. Believe it or not, there's still some classrooms here with pizarra, and you need tiza. I hate them, but I do. No say, as I've gotten older, my hands get dry, so I bought special dust-free chalk, which is why I have my own little boxes of it. Okay, so moving on to the next one. We don't have one here in this room, but, oh, wrong one still. Okay, el mapa. What is el mapa? Map. Okay, that one should have been easy enough. El mapa. All right, the next one, el calendario. What is el calendario? Calendar, el calendario. Now, it could be something like that. Some people would also call this a calendario, like a planner, although most people would refer to it as a agenda, your agenda, okay? But if someone says, oh, see, I'm going to write it in mi calendario, and you're like, that's not a calendar, that's a planner. Some people call this a calendario, okay? So yeah, okay? Now, the next one, I guess this is mine. La pantalla. Although in the previous room that I was in, it was one of the ones that you pull down. Not quite smart. Not if I have to pull it down. No, that's that one. Oh, what's the thing that I would have to pull down? Gracias, screen. All right, la pantalla is screen. I almost went to this because this could also be a pantalla, the screen, or en mi teléfono, like the la pantalla, the screen. Okay, you guys are going to be in the video now. All right, so la pantalla, okay, screen. Okay, so it could take a lot of forms, I suppose. Okay, so moving down in front of el calendario y la pantalla, okay, we have el chico or el muchacho, and then we have la chica or la muchacha. First off, what would el chico or la chica? Boy, girl, it can, but in this case, I would call you chicos y chicas. Young people is a more accurate, let's say, definition. And then muchacho and muchacha means the same thing, except that one's used a lot more in Mexico and a couple other countries. Don't ask me which ones, because I only know Mexico, but I know I've heard it in other places. So, you know, el muchacho, la muchacha, la chica, el chico. And sometimes when I'm saying goodbye to y'all, I'll be like, adios, chicos. Okay? What am I saying there?
Young people.
Yeah, bye, young peoples, or bye, guys. All right? At least from my perspective, you're all young. All right? So, adios, young peoples. Okay? Adios, chicos. All right? Now, it can mean boy or girl in some contexts. Okay? But typically, it refers to a young person. Okay? Now, I do not have one with me. I wasn't willing to carry it. But if you all look over at David, okay, he's right there. Raise your hand, David. La computadora portátil for the next word. What is a computadora portátil? It's right in front of him. Laptop. Okay? Yes. In Espanol, we call it a portable computer. All right? But in this case, computadora portátil is a laptop. Okay? Now, if all you say is computadora, it refers to this dinosaur. Okay? The big one, the desktop. Okay? If you say computadora portátil, portable computer, then it's a laptop. All right? If you look then to the student in the reddish shirt, okay, first we have el libro de texto. Libro de texto. Textbook. Okay, this refers to any book that you use for a class. So, vosotros tenéis el libro de texto. But if you just say, and I brought one of my favorites, el libro, what is just el libro? Just a normal book, any kind of book. Okay, and yes, this is oso pardo, que ves tú. Okay, we'll go into this later. It's a kid's book with colors, because we're going to learn colors. All right? Muy bien. Okay? Then moving behind, and we've already done this kind of sort of. What is estudiante? Student. To distinguish between a boy student and a girl student, okay? El estudiante, remember, el means the, but it is the masculine the, so we use it for a masculine student, el estudiante. La means the, but it's the feminine the, so we use it with a feminine student. So, el estudiante, la estudiante. Okay? I did bring this one. La tableta. What is la tableta? Tablet. Okay? So if you have a tablet, if you have an iPad, if you have the Samsung, whatever, okay, it is la tableta. Okay? If you want to actually tell us, like, the type that it is, you can just say el iPad. El, Google, whatever. I don't know which one Google makes. All right? El Samsung, whatever. Okay? Muy bien. Then moving on down to the bottom part. El lápiz. Pencil. El lápiz. Okay? So if you've got one of these old school yellow, number 2, all right? There used to be a pencil sharpener over there, and now it's gone. It's been gone for years. But el lápiz. Okay? We'll talk about making this word plural, okay, because los lápices, it does give you the plural form. We will learn how to do singulars and plurals in Espanol, all right? But, does anyone have one of these, the mechanical kind? Algunos? Sí, Ronaldo? Yeah, okay, Bradio. I think it's yours. I think it's the exact same one, Julia. Kind of like, yeah, the aqua color. Is it a Bic? Bic? B-I-C? Yeah. We're twinsies. All right. This is not a lápiz, though. This is it's not part of your vocab, but obviously a couple of you need to know. That is a lapicero, okay? So I may say, hey, Julia, can I borrow un lápiz? And she's like, I don't have any lápiz, but I have a lapicero, a mechanical pencil. And it's like, okay, I guess that'll have to do, type of thing. Literally, I just use it for this. I think I stole this from my son. He likes using them. No me gusta. The thing snaps too quickly, too easily. I know, you guys are like, you're pushing too hard, Santos. I don't care. I know, but, no me gusta. I prefer these. Okay, if I have to do something in pencil. All right? So muy bien. Okay? Oh, ¿dónde está? Aquí. La mochila. What is la mochila? backpack, book bag, whatever you want to call it, la mochila, okay? Then moving right along, la pluma. What is la pluma? Pen. Now, if you move further to the right onto page 23, you also have el bolígrafo. What is el bolígrafo? Pen. And here's where we're going to slow down por un momento. Remember, hopefully y'all got this one right, 21 countries have Spanish as an official language, and so on occasion there will be different words for the same thing. There are 8 different words for pen, depending on which country you're from, okay? The 2 most common ones are pluma and bolígrafo, okay? I have heard them all in my travels, okay? In Argentina, make that feminine, lapicera, and that's what they called this. In northern Argentina, biromen was this, okay? So yeah, all right, depending on where you are, okay, is going to be the word for pen. Now, those of you who have taken Español before, whatever word you learned, pick it, use it, that's fine. Okay, which one are you going to use? Bolígrafo. All right, bolígrafo is fine. Okay. I grew up using pluma, but when I became a Spanish teacher, I started teaching bolígrafo just because it's longer, it sounds nicer. It's got an accent mark, so I could use it in my accent mark lessons. Okay, type of thing. So I will typically say bolígrafo in the classroom, but if you ever catch me with like friends and stuff like that, I say pluma, all right, just because that's the word, that's what they use in Mexico, number 1. Número 2, just a little bit of fun, the word pluma actually means feather. Why would we call a writing instrument a feather? Yeah, before they used to take the big feathers, dip it in ink, and that's what they wrote with. So the name just kind of moved along. All right. So whether you call it pluma, whether you call it bolígrafo, or no, was it the other way? Or see, it doesn't matter. Okay. Pick a word, and I was going to say, those of you that are new, well, find one, maybe the shorter one, or the one that's easier to spell, or the one that you don't have to worry about an accent mark. Pick it and use it. Okay, either way, okay? But you do have to know that both of them mean pen, okay? Muy bien. La calculadora. Calculator, yes. Yeah, I have my cheapy, like, $2.99 one from Walmart that I use. I know some of you guys have the scientific ones and, like, the big-ass, like, whatevers that back in my day cost like $1,200, and now they're like, $99.99 for your calculus class. Okay. El cuaderno. That is not it. Lo siento. No. This is el cuaderno. Notebook. Yeah, specifically spiral bound. Okay. I only have little ones because that's what I write on. It's my weirdness thing. Oh, well, there's lots of weird things about me, but this is the only thing I could take notes on, okay? But Brady, could you hold yours up, por favor? That is a cuaderno, any kind of spiral-bound notebook, all right? So, el cuaderno, okay? El pupitre, el pupitre. Desk, but specifically, what kind of desk? A chair desk, okay. Where do you typically see these? Who uses them? Gracias, a student desk, okay? So it's a chair with something and a little basket underneath for you to put your stuff. Okay. So pupitre is specifically a student desk. Okay. Now, if you go like towards the back of the picture, all right, where like the colors are, you have a big one there, el escritorio. All right. What is escritorio? Yeah. And not just a teacher desk, but like that would also be like what you have like in an office or whatever. So I would describe this is a pupitre. Come to my oficina and I have an escritorio. Okay, now, if you call this an escritorio, most people wouldn't think twice. They'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever. If you call the one in my office a pupitre, people will laugh at you. They'll be like, that's not a pupitre. That's a full-on, like, big-ass thing. For whatever reason, it's acceptable to call this an escritorio, but not like an actual, like, office desk, a pupitre. So just, pupitre, and then, come to my office, escritorio.
Like my favorite word in Spanish.
Escritorio?
No,
Oh, pupitre. Yeah, pupitre. Okay. I know most of you are just going to use your teléfono or el app, pero Santos is old. El diccionario. What is diccionario? Dictionary. Okay, yeah. This is the one I used in grad school, believe it or not. So it's that old. Yeah, it still smells like an old book. Okay, el diccionario. Okay. I think that's like my third copy. The very first copy I bought was like in 1992. And that one fell apart. I know, before all of you were born, like 10 years before you were born. And that one fell apart. So that's like the third copy I have. The teacher is holding a papel. Paper, so papel, okay? Some of you have different papeles, okay, that you've got out, all right? What I'm sitting on, and most of y'all, or vosotros, la silla, chair, okay? La silla is a chair, and I'm trying to see if they have it, which they don't. So you have a silla, but you also, in front of you have, anyone know what mesa? Table. All right. So you guys are sitting at a mesa and silla. Okay, mesa y la silla. All right. Oh, they do have la computadora. All right. So that's just like, if you just want to say computer, that's fine. If you want to say desktop, that's fine. Remember, thanks, Ronaldo. What Ronaldo and David have, those are computadora portátil. Okay, laptops. All right. El marcador. Marker. Now in Espanol, this could be a marcador. I suppose in English also. I brought my Sharpie. This is also a marcador. Of course, this is permanent. This is dry erase. Okay. But we don't have a word for it. So this is also a marcador. Okay. Highlighter. All right. This is also a Sharpie. Okay, me gusta Sharpie. All right, so, you use it to, take notes or highlight or whatever. So you just kind of have to be specific. Okay? Oh, at the very top of the wall, last picture. El reloj. What is a reloj? Clock. Now, en español, all timepieces are reloj. So this, on my wrist, reloj. Okay, even though in English we would say watch. What I just put on the wall, reloj. Okay. Wilcox Hall, the tower, trust me, there is a reloj on this side. It's off by an hour. It'll be back on time when we go back to the other time, fall back. All right, but that is a reloj. Some people might even refer to that little screen on the phone that is telling time, reloj. All right, so any timepiece is a reloj en español. All right, finalmente, at least on this page. Okay? Los colores. All right? What is blanco? White. Okay? Negro, black. Rojo, red. Anaranjado, orange. Please be aware that in Espanol, we actually have a different word for the fruit. That just refers to the color. Naranja, yeah. It's kind of the same, anaranjado, naranja, all right? But don't be like, ooh, this is a good anaranjado. It's like, no, that's the color, not the fruit. Amarillo, yellow. Verde, green. Azul, blue. Morado, purple. And marrón, brown. I'll get into brown in a minute because some of you were kind of like, brown? Okay, yes, I know what word you learned, all right, but that's okay. There's two that they didn't put up that are important that I think you should know. Does anyone know what grease? Gray. Okay, so, because not wearing gray. I'm looking around. Some of you. Gracias. Grease. All right. Emma, thank you. Gray. Grease. I combined the weird accent with English. All right. Grease. Okay. Thank you, Brady. Grease. Okay. And then the other one is either this or, I wish I had a pink marker. Either rosa or rosado. Pink. Okay. Where's my pink wearers? Nobody wearing pink. Okay. So yeah, pink. Now, the problem with the word rosa is that is also the word for rose. And when I think of a rose, I think of a red one. Okay. But the word rosa could also be pink. And then rosado also means pink. Just depends on where the person's from. They'll call it rosado or rosa. Okay? Oh, the other thing. All of those colors that end in O, those are the masculine forms. So if you're describing something, okay, let's pretend these chairs are not blue, but they are red, okay? Because silla is feminine, we would say roja. So if you're describing something feminine with any of the ones that end in O, just change it to an A, and it becomes feminine. All right. Oh, I almost forgot myself. All right, except here it's female. La profesora would be a female teacher or female professor, and then el profesor, male teacher or male professor. Okay. If you look at the blue box, okay, once again, not going through all of them, okay, but the important ones, for example, el examen. Oh, we just had one. I used the word the other day. What is examen? Exam or test. And then if you skip down, la tarea. What is la tarea? Homework, la tarea. Okay. If you look at the next section, hopefully you all have made at least uno or dos. El amigo, male friend. La amiga, female friend. Okay. I suppose you can refer to each other now. El compañero de clase, classmate, or la compañera de clase. Okay. El compañero de clase, all right. Ladies, la compañera de clase. Okay, male and female classmate. Those of you that live in the dorms or maybe share a room with someone, el compañero de cuarto or la compañera de cuarto, a roommate. Okay. If you're just talking about a man, a guy, el hombre. If you're just talking about a girl, all right, feminine, all right, la mujer. And then finally, if you do have a significant other, because it is a part of the growing and learning experience, el novio, your boyfriend, or la novia, girlfriend. Okay? Muy bien. All right, then turn the page, and lo siento, we still have a few words. If you look on the left-hand side, and let me bring this up. For some of the administrative stuff, okay, even though the word consejero or consejera looks like counselor, and it can mean counselor, in Espanol we use it for advisor. All right, so your SSA, all right, if you have a meeting, you know, it's like, oh, voy con mi consejero, I'm going to see my advisor, okay? Decano or decana, okay, is the dean or the person in charge of the department. Depending on your major, you will have a different dean, but the person that's in charge of me is la decana, Jessica Wilkie. So that's who you go to complain about Senor Santos, okay? La decana. The word maestro just means teacher. It's another word for teacher, whereas profesor is more of a title, although in most Spanish-speaking countries, the two are interchangeable, you know? So people would refer to me as a maestro or a profesor, you know, it really doesn't matter. Depending on which country you're in, el presidente de la universidad, the college or university president, or in some places it's a rector or rectora, a rector. I have seen both in my travels, okay? Here, I guess we will say presidente, just because that's the title we use here at MVCC, okay? It is el presidente. I can never get his name right, so it's Randall Van... It's either Van Wagner with one G or two G's or one N or two N's, I never know. I apologize, it's those Dutch names, I can never get them right. So El Presidente Randall, he goes by Randy though, Van Wagner. And then finally Secretario, secretary, if it's a male secretary, el secretario, female, la secretaria. Each of your departments that you're a part of will have a secretary. There'll be someone sitting out there before you see el decano or la decana. For my department, it's el secretario. I know his name is Jesse. One of these days I'll remember his last name. It's lucky I remember his first name, and it's only because it's almost like the dean's name. And they both go by Jess. So it's like, okay, so Jess and Jess. So yeah, okay, so el secretario is Jesse, el presidente is Randy Van Wagner, y la decana, the dean, is Jessica Wilkie. Okay? Now, if you go to the top, brown. All right. The textbook gave you marrón as the word for brown. If you have used that one before, great. If this is the first time you're taking Spanish and that's your first exposure, great. Use the word marrón. But please be aware that in some countries, including Mexico, we do not use marrón. We say el color café. Now, does anyone know what café means? Coffee. We literally call it the color of coffee. And some of you might be like, but Santos, isn't yours black? It is. But what happens when you add cream? It turns a nice shade of Santos. Okay? It becomes brown. It does. All right? Does yours have cream or is it negro?
It does, yes.
Okay, so And that's why specifically when you ask for it in Espanol, oh, un café negro, all right? You actually ask for black coffee, all right? Now, I was always really lazy as a kid, so I always just called it café. Okay, I never actually said, oh, el color café. I would just say café, mesa café, the brown table, el libro café, the brown folder, okay? Oh, el sleeve café, all right? As opposed to el color café, all right? So, how many of you learned café or color café? All right, a few of you, all right? If that's what you learned, go ahead and use it, all right? No problem, because that's what Santos uses, all right? First time, or if you learned marron, because marron is actually the word for brown.
I think the way that I was taught it in high school was cafe, was like brown for everything, and then she taught us maroon for hair.
It's a little bit off,
Yeah.
because we have other words for brown. The one that your teacher should have said. Castaño is brown for specifically body parts, hair, and eyes. Okay, so, pelo castaño. Oh, thank you, Gabby. Yours is so castaño. All right, so pelo castaño. I mean, Emma's is kind of reddish, maybe auburn. All right, I don't know. Julia, yours is a bit darker, so but perfect shade of castaño. Thank you, Gabby. All right, so castaño. I'm not going to look into your eyes, all right? I'm not trying to be creepy, but if you've got brown eyes, all right, then ojos castaños, all right? You would not, I mean, I guess you can call them coffee-colored eyes, all right? Ojos de, that actually does sound a bit more romantic, right? Jenna, your coffee-colored eyes, all right? Ojos de color café, all right? But no, you would say ojos castaños, or, wow, Julia, your coffee-colored hair, all right? Cabello color castaño, or color de café, not castaño. All right, see, even I can't do it because castaño is for hair, okay? So body parts, okay, we use castaño. Donde está mi libro? Does anyone know, and it's by Eric Carle, does anyone know the name of this story in English?
It's like brown bear.
Gracias, brown bear. Mr. Santos, why does it say oso pardo, though? Shouldn't it be oso marron or oso castaño or oso café? I would love to call it a coffee-colored bear, all right? Well, because the word pardo means brown, but we only use it for animals. So a brown bear is an oso pardo. If your dog is like a chocolate lab or a brown lab, or I don't know which brown lab, but perro pardo, okay? If your cat is brown, I've never seen a brown cat, has brown in it, but not purely brown, gato pardo, okay? If your fish is brown, okay, brown trout, I don't know why it's called that, pez pardo, okay? So, yeah.
There's so many browns.
I know, that's why it's such a fun color. And so, oso pardo, oh my goodness, yeah, hold on, I'll read to you. Oso pardo, ¿qué ves allí? Brown bear, what do you see? Veo un pájaro rojo que me mira a mí. I see a red bird looking back at me. Okay, pájaro rojo. And then pájaro rojo, ¿qué ves allí? Red bird, what do you see? Okay, veo un pato amarillo que me mira a mí. What is amarillo again? Yellow? I see a yellow kite. Oh my gosh, you guys are better than preschoolers. You're like actually looking and, ooh, what's that? Okay? Type of thing. Maybe I should read you kids' books more often. All right? So yeah, this one's a good one to practice colors with, or if you want to teach like a child colors, because it's like the same kid's story. Oh, wait till I bring the Hungry Caterpillar. La oruga muy hambrienta. Okay, that one's also good. Okay, so yeah. All right. So in this case, pardo for animals. All right. I would not say to Julia, "Oh my God, to pelo pardo." All right, your brown hair, because she's like, "What do I look like? You know, a bear, a dog? Like, what the hell?" You would only use pardo to describe animals. Okay. Any preguntas? I want to do just the first exercise, 1-1. Because it is los colores. On the left-hand side,